Hey y'all, iRix Guy here, and I want to do a follow-up review of the Schwinn IC4. Now check out my video where I assembled it. I think that was July of 2020, so I've been riding this a ton. Now I do some outdoor workouts in better weather conditions, but this is incredible. And I tell you, it helps to burn fat. Now I'm still fat because I eat a lot. I mean, it's Thanksgiving. Yesterday was Thanksgiving, so I ate a bunch of stuff, and now I'm like, man, I gotta burn that belly off, if you know what I mean. So you're probably in the same boat if you're shopping for exercise equipment. So what I want to remind everyone before I continue with this, you can expand this video's description and then click the link there to find where to order the bike, the mat like I use, the shoes like I use, even the TV and soundbar and stuff like I use. I've got it all linked there. But let's go ahead and hop right in. Again, honest opinions after using the IC4 since July of 2020. So I'm filming this on Black Friday of 2021. So this thing is built like a tank. It's, if you're not familiar with Schwinn, Schwinn's been making traditional bicycles for many years. Actually, when I was growing up, I remember having a Schwinn bike, and Schwinn had already been out for a long time before I was born. And it's just really high quality. The assembly was super simple. You may want two people. I did it 100% by myself. Check out my assembly video. I've got it linked within this IC4 video playlist. So it's easy to assemble. As far as portability is concerned, now I'm in a situation where I don't have to move it to another room because this is my dedicated workout area. Now my TV right now is actually facing there, but I can rotate my TV so that it's in front of the, so that it's facing the exercise bike. So see, like that right there. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I had it over there because I was just, I was sitting on the sofa watching some TV, man. But so if you've got a situation where you can put it in front of a TV, it's going to provide a lot of additional value. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. If you don't have a TV, that's fine. If you don't have a dedicated space, that's fine as well, because this has on the front, it's got wheels where you can roll it. Now, I probably wouldn't roll it on a nice floor because these wheels could scratch. But if it's in a garage or some sort of concrete floor you don't care about, it's easy to wheel around. If you need to temporarily pull it out and then put it up. Likewise, this is lightweight enough for me to carry by myself, so I don't have to roll it. And if you're not quite strong enough to carry it by yourself, what you could do, you can pop off the handlebars and then also the seat post with seat, and it makes it even smaller and lighter to move. Very narrow, as you can see here. It should fit through most any interior doorway. So it's a great size. The versatility of this thing, I mean, on one side of the pedal, you've got a traditional toe cage. Where you can wear a traditional shoe. I like not regular tennis shoes. I wear these shoes because they're flat on the bottom. These don't clip to the pedal. But if you want shoes that do clip to the pedal, the other side of the pedals that come with the IC4, they've got where they call the SPDs. I think it's SPD. It's some sort of clipless cleat. So if you get cycling shoes that you can attach the cleat to, then you can clip in and clip out of the pedals on the IC4. I personally don't do it. It's personal preference. I like these shoes. This is a special shoe that I only wear in here, and I only use for my Schwinn IC4. You can find these linked within this video's description too. But they've got a very nice, reassuring, flat surface that makes contact with the pedal. And these don't clip to the pedal, which is what I prefer. You may prefer to flip your pedal over and use clipless cycling shoes. Clipless meaning that they actually clip to it. I don't know why they call it clipless. But, that's personal preference. I had a very bad wreck on a road bike. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I was wearing clipless pedals. Yeah, so the build quality is great. The handlebars have a semi-hard, I would say it's more on the hard than a soft, so a semi-hard, rubbery type covering. So it's enough to give you a little bit of cushioning, but it's not so, so rubbery where it feels like it'll cut and flake off. Don't have any issues with that. This right here is a tablet holder or a smartphone, whatever you want to do. If you want to use, that's the cool thing about this bike, if you want to use certain apps that pair with it, such as the Peloton app or the Zwift, ZWIFT, you can connect your bike and further motivate yourself. Now what I do, and the reason I've got it in front of the TV, is I've made the switch, and as soon as it came out I made the switch. It's called Apple Fitness Plus. So what I can do with Apple Fitness Plus is I wear my Apple Watch, and then with my Apple TV on my television, I can watch the trainers in the gym, you know, as they guide me through my workouts. You know, they say stand, they say sit. You know, you can select different durations, you know, I think 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. At least the last time I did it, the longest duration was 45 minutes. So just an extra motivational tool. The value of this bike is that you don't have to have an app. You don't have to have a paid subscription to enjoy it. This integrated screen, and it comes with a little, let's see, where do I have, where is that in here? It comes with a little heart rate monitor that you can wear on your wrist. I don't use this because I use my Apple Watch, but if you didn't want to deal with an app or anything and you just strictly want to use the bike, boom, you can use this, the heart rate monitor to keep track of your heart rate. Or if you don't want to keep track of your heart rate, you don't have to wear anything. You can just pedal. And a question that somebody asked me the other day, they said, well, what if it's not plugged in? Can you still use it? And, well, obviously you wouldn't use a computer if it wasn't plugged in, but within a separate video, check out that video, I demonstrated how you can adjust the resistance up or down without it being plugged in. Of course, you don't have any sort of metrics being recorded or anything like that, but you could still do it that way. The seat that comes with this, the saddle, if you're a cyclist, you probably call it a saddle instead of a seat. I find it to be very comfortable. It's not too soft and it's not too hard. Everybody has a personal preference when it comes to a saddle on a bike. Easy to replace. Standard bicycle seat. You got a seat you like? Pop it on here, man. That's all you got to do. Adjustability, very easy. You can adjust the height of the handlebars. You can adjust forward and backwards. You can adjust the seat forward and backwards. You can adjust the height of the seat post up and down. And something I would do if you're sharing this with other people in your household, get you a little marker and just mark the spots. That way if you somebody else rides your bike, they've got their spots marked, you've got yours marked, and every time you get on the bike, you don't have to relearn what were your settings, what were your adjustments for the seat and the handlebars. You know, you've already got it in there. It comes with these weights. You know, there's some workouts, if you use apps, it'll tell you to break out the weights. I don't really use them that much, but they're there and they're nice quality. The water bottle holders on this thing, the water bottle holders are very generous size. You can put a huge water bottle on each side. This is magnetic resistance, so it is whisper quiet. I mean, if you're in an environment where you got people down below you, they probably won't even hear you. You probably want to get a mat like I use, and again, I got it linked in this video's description along with the bike. But you probably want to get a mat, not because of the noise necessarily, but number one, it may better protect your floors, if you scooted this around. But most importantly, it should better protect your floors because as you work out, you're going to just drip sweat. I mean, that's what I do. So you're dripping sweat on this mat that's easy to clean, with a wet towel, with whatever safe cleaning solution you have. It's easy to do that versus getting your floor all messy, especially if you were on carpet and you didn't put a mat down, you just sweated and sweated, and that sweat gets in the carpet, it gets nasty, man. You definitely don't want that. But yeah, no complaints at all with this bike. I mean, this bike, anytime that I've been shopping for home fitness equipment in the past, I always get nervous because I'm like, it's expensive and it's probably going to break easily. The value out of this, not only is this quiet, but since it uses a belt-driven, not chain, but a belt-driven system, it makes it quieter. Also, I don't have to deal with all that lubrication and stuff, and there's no friction pads. This uses magnetic resistance, meaning that it's magnetism. As you turn this knob, it makes the bicycle harder to pedal or easier to pedal. So there's nothing, those friction pads like you see on a lot of inferior exercise bikes, you look at the front and they got the pads. Those not only produce heat, but they can produce unpleasant smells. But most importantly, they're noisier and they burn out. Those friction pads wear out. So more than likely, you're going to find that even after using an inferior exercise bike for a moderate amount of time, you're going to find that those friction pads are probably wearing unevenly. So you don't have consistent and repeatable resistance. With this, with this being magnetic resistance, not only is it quieter, but I'm confident every time I get on it, when I turn that knob, and you can see the level, it's 0 through 100, it's reassuring for me, because I know that when I'm on 100, I know what to feel and expect. It's consistent. 100 always feels like 100. 30 feels like 30. 70 feels like 70. You get to know the feel of the various resistance ranges, and since it's magnetic resistance, there's not a friction pad physically wearing out, so that resistance should remain consistent throughout the life of the bike. I have no complaints. Again, assembly was a snap. I would, the one thing I would do, check out my assembly video, but I would encourage you, if you pick one of these up, if you do, please expand this video's description and then click the link there to find the bike, the mat, the shoes, everything like I use. And I appreciate that. But if you get one, what I would encourage you to do, especially if you're in a 2-story house or an apartment where you're, I would open it up outside and bring the pieces in piece by piece. That way you can inventory it, and then that way, after you assemble it, you've already got the box outside that you can dispose of at the street or wherever you dispose of your trash. So it just makes it a lot more convenient. This, I filmed the entire assembly process, so check that out. If you're nervous about assembly, don't be. And actually, I'm happy that I assembled it myself, because I put my hand on every piece that had to be tightened, and I'm confident that I tightened everything thoroughly, and I didn't over-tighten anything. So, the value add of assembling it yourself, at least for me, that adds enhanced peace of mind. So this has been a great investment. And again, you're looking at this, you've been eating a lot for the holidays, you're looking down some flab and stuff, you're like, man, I'm getting fat. And if that's the case, that is something that might be able to help. Now, if I didn't eat as much, I would be really, I'd be ripped. But since I eat so much, because I enjoy eating and cooking, if I didn't use this, I would be, really big. So, this is not, the act of purchasing this bike is not going to make you lose weight. You got to stick to it. But, my best recommendation would be get this bike and then try out several different apps. You don't have to use an app. Again, if maybe you're wealthy or something, you just stare out the window at the ocean or the lake. That's great. You got scenery to look at. I've got this wall over here if I didn't have a TV. So for me, I use the app, and I find Apple Fitness Plus to be the best. That's my opinion. A lot of people like Zwift. A lot of people like Full Gas. A lot of people like the Peloton app. Keep in mind, this is not a Peloton bike, but you can use the Peloton app. That's something people don't know. So, whatever your personal preference is, whether you use an app, whether you don't, it's just a great experience. Very quiet, very smooth pedal action. It's not something where I feel like I'm on a cheap bicycle when I'm riding it. It feels very similar. Obviously, you don't have the road underneath you and the wind blowing in your face, but it has a very similar feel to a road bike. And that's, Schwinn has done a bang-up job with this bike, and I highly recommend it. I know there's some bikes that are a lot more expensive. I know there's some bikes that are a lot less expensive. But I think, not even looking at price, I think this is the best one to consider. Now, my background, I've been cycling since I was a kid. I did the BMX bikes with the pegs. I did the mountain bikes. I did the road bikes. I road biked up into my 30s until I got hit by a car. That was one thing that happened on a road bike, and then also I had a wreck with clipless shoes on I actually had one on the road bike, but the worst wreck that I had with clipless shoes, those that clip to the pedals, was on a mountain bike. I bought this new mountain bike. It's when full suspensions first came out, and I wasn't used to the disc brakes, and I depressed the disc brake. It stopped a lot harder than I thought. It gripped a lot harder than what I was used to, and I went over the handlebars with my feet still strapped to the pedals. The bike almost hit me in the back of the head, but when I hit the impact, it caused the those clipless shoes did detach from the pedals. I broke my chin. I broke every bone in my right hand, and it was nasty, man. And then I was going to Cancun, Mexico for a senior trip. So I go down there, and I'm all banged up, man. I get in the pool and I got a trash bag over my arm because it can't get wet. I got my chin sewed up, and then I've got in my other hand, I've got my Modelo. So yeah, that was an interesting experience. But that's why I personally don't like the clipless pedals, the cycling shoes that attach. But if you like using those, again, the pedals that come with this IC4, on one side they've got that capability. You would just have to buy the cycling shoes. So I hope this video helped. If you have questions, please ask. And please subscribe to my channel and check out my Schwinn IC4 video playlist. I've got 100 or so videos already, but if you have questions, ask, and I will try to respond in the form of a follow-up video. Appreciate your viewership. And again, if you're shopping for the IC4, the mat, the TV, the soundbar, the subwoofer like I use, expand this video's description and then click the link there. Thanks in advance, and y'all have a good day, and best of luck with your 2022 fitness goals and beyond. And don't just start working out at the end of the year and quit. Stick with it, man. I ate a lot yesterday too, and if I don't work out, I get blue. Y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, Captain IRIX Guy here. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to subscribe. It's youtube.com/IRIX Guy. And ring that bell icon when you do to be notified whenever I post another video. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day.